Oh, God. That's racist to New Yorkers? Nice, good. I'm happy to be racist to New Yorkers. Reactionaries can't be funny because they can't stop being angry. Dude, reactionaries can't be funny because reactionaries' entire personalities gets consumed by hatred and fear of the people they don't like. It's like J.K. Rowling, dude. J.K. Rowling was never, like, a particularly interesting individual, but her entire personality has been consumed by her valiant crusade to defend cisgender women against the statistically unlikely possibility that there will be any increase in violence against them if we allow trans people to feel good about themselves for a day, you know? Your entire personality gets taken over by this shit. Go look at all the old skeptics on YouTube, and now look at where they are. Some of them jumped ship, and Godspeed for those people, but a lot of them are literally just living avatars of, like, seething copium now. They're just so full of hatred and disgust and fear. It takes over their whole personalities. You've met people like this, right? Like in real life, you know? Like, take me, for example. Politics is my job. That's what you guys pay me for. Thanks for that, by the way. That's what, you know, I get the big bucks so I can go to the doctor and, you know, get my hair cut. Well, actually, my partner cuts my hair, but whatever the case may be. But if you met me, if we just talked, like, for a day, I don't have to talk about politics. There are other interests that I have, you know? Now, all of my interests have an underlying political bent, but I don't need to share that with everyone. You know, I can talk about anime or video games. I can talk about, like, TV or, like, animation. There are a lot of nerdy interests that I like. I like Dungeons and Dragons. there are a lot of things that I like. I like construction, too. I used to be big into metalworking and stoneworking, actually. I'd take these classes when I could back in high school, and it was a lot of fun. I used to like hiking and outdoors work. There's a lot of stuff that I can talk about. And if you met me, and we weren't talking about politics, there's other shit that I could talk about. That's not what happens to some people. Some people's entire personality just gets consumed by this desperate hatred or fear or insecurity at the core of their person. And that's why they can't be funny. Because a conservative can't just tell a joke. Every joke has to subtly or overtly indicate an underlying contempt for a group of people. That's every conservative joke. There can't not be that element in the conservative joke. It has to have that. They have to be shitting on somebody. And the person they're shitting on is usually a group of people who don't really deserve it, you know? There's a pretty big difference when it comes to, like, historically, the relationship between, like, humor and reception, between attacking people above you and attacking people below you. It's the reason why no one really gives a shit about, like, the idea of making fun of, like, the president. Unless you're a conservative. I'm sorry, normal people don't give a shit about the idea of making fun of a president. By the way, liberals made fun of Obama too when Obama was in office. I don't like the idea that it's like a partisan one-off thing. There were liberals who would make jokes about Obama during the Obama presidency. Conservatives don't really do that about Trump, like, ever. It just has to be venerant idealization. Like, they can only worship, you know? They can't, like, critically examine things they like, which is another component of being funny, by the way. Punching up is easy for most people, but punching down can hurt. Like, if you're just making fun of, like, a homeless pregnant woman, like, any humor value, and there can be jokes made there, and don't get me wrong, but any humor value is kind of undercut by this weird feeling that you're just taking pleasure from the suffering of another less fortunate person. But that's every conservative joke. That's every joke they tell. It's always that. It's always these groups. And they get away with it because they tell themselves the people they're punching down on aren't actually, like, down, you know? Oh, I make fun of trans crazies, whatever, but that's because the whole media is obsessed with trans whatever, and they're actually all pedophiles, so it's really like I'm punching sideways at pedophiles, or something like that, you know? Or they'll say, like, well, it's not punching down on black people, because black people are, you know, unduly privileged by affirmative action and all these systems that have been put in place to infantilize them and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And if you get called out in it, you say it's dark humor, which, and credit to the ContraPoints video, by the way, which ignores the fact dark humor isn't just being shitty at people. Dark humor is humor which usually attempts to sympathize with the conditions of misfortune, often misfortune you've experienced, but not just make fun of disprivileged people, you know? Dark humor isn't just like, for example, dead baby jokes, okay? Dead baby jokes, nobody really gets offended by dead baby jokes except for, like, wine moms. They're just like a 13-year-old's go-to, like, I'm edgy, whatever. Dead baby jokes aren't really dark humor, you know? It's just like low effort, edgy, you know? But if you want to go further than that, like rape jokes or whatever, rape jokes generally aren't dark humor, you know? There are some rape jokes that are dark humor. Most rape jokes aren't dark humor. They're just making fun of rape. Yeah, but shock value is not dark humor. Those are two different things. Dark humor has to be a little bit, you know, a little intelligent, a little introspective. But these are things conservatives can't do. So, yeah. And then we complete the circuit when the conservative fully comes to terms with the fact that their comedy is terrible. They go and become a millionaire right-wing grifter demagogue. See Ben Shapiro when he flubbed out of Hollywood. Steven Crowder when he flubbed out of comedy. See Dave Rubin. We saw some of his delicious comedy on stream just like a week ago. It was incredibly painful to look at, you know? That's the conservative circuit, you know? Conservative comedy is just like a roundabout circuit that leads people to getting propped up by billionaires to repeat the same talking points over and over and over again, sort of with the veneer of comedy, you know? You know what I'm talking about, don't you?